Hi, my name is Glenn Story. I'm the founder and CEO of Patriot Mobile. I'd love for you to learn more about Patriot Mobile, www.patriotmobile.com/Gene V. More importantly, I'd like you to be a subscriber to his show. I mean, his Truthcast is amazing. And if you get to listen to some of them, you'll never go back. I really encourage you to come watch it.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed.
We've got our king down in Pensacola waiting, don't we?
We do. We've got our velvet hammer, we call him. He's been, something we did that many years ago, and Gene was just telling me offline that one of the hosts at Newsmax, he was telling them about that, and they got a kick out of that, huh, Gene?
Well, the producers were saying, hey, we saw that episode on WMXI. What are they calling you, the Velvet Hammer? I said, yeah. He says, hey, Valentino, you're stuck with it now, buddy.
Yeah, the Velvet Hammer. We love it. That is such a great and appropriate name for you because, well, you use your velvet ways to actually hammer the point in. And I think and of course, it was not my idea. I have to give credit where credit is due. That came from one of our listeners, a fellow named David who listens every morning. And, he's got my cell phone. I mean, he's one of those listeners that, he texts me. And so he texted me that one morning, and I thought that was absolutely appropriate. So I initiated calling you the Velvet Hammer. So here we are. Anyway.
Here we are.
And getting into business now, last week when we left here, we had no idea that overnight or over the weekend that another attempt would be made on President Trump's life. And that did happen. It's been almost a week now. And just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Well, boy, what a difference a week makes. We have a group of left-wing exposed crazies now. For lack of a better word, they're inflammatory and they're really out to do damage. It's not so much about certain principles or policies anymore. It's more about protecting the political party called the Democrat Party, which now has enshrined itself in a cloak of deep left thinking that is violent, reckless, and unbecoming not only to the nation, but to the rest of the world. In fact, one would argue it's why the rest of the world thought they could take so many liberties with us as they have over the last decade or so. What a shame. A threat on Donald Trump's life again in 2 years precipitated an argument with me and my co-guest on Newsmax yesterday afternoon. Host Rick Leventhal, in for Todd Starnes, asked me a few questions and brought this guest on who is from Florida, the southern Florida area, and he was chastising Governor DeSantis's decision to push, and the legislature approving this whole issue of redistricting under the Voters Act, and just coming to terms with what has happened. What I'm talking about is the blue states of the North and the blue cities of the North and West are filling in the Gulf Coast of America. They're coming to the Sun Belt and South, not because they want the sunshine and warmth of a beautiful area, which has always been a wonderful draw, but because they want no income taxes. They want a 50% reduction in the cost of living. $100,000 salary in New York City and Connecticut might be a $45,000 to $50,000 salary here. So if you're making $100,000 here, you're doing pretty good, because of the cost being so low overall. Back on point, this crazy lefty on Newsmax with me tries to make fun of what has happened in the in this ruling in Florida, and makes no reference to what has been going on nationwide that I just mentioned, this influx. What has happened is the redistricting of districts has had to occur sooner than every 10 years because there's so many people coming in. The balance, the parity, the equity between my district and yours is imbalanced now because there's so many people coming down. And what the Democrats just got hit in the head with, with a 2x4, is the fact that if more people are down here, more representatives have to be assigned to represent more people. And what happens is they lose seats in the House, in Congress. We gain seats in the House and Congress. This has caused the red state of Florida to get even redder, and that just flipped them out. Guess what? The deal they put together to try to perpetrate a fraud against the United States with a socialistic Marxist regime of thinking is now backfiring big time, Michael. And the nation's system, the democracy, as cumbersome as it is sometimes, we say, so bureaucratic, it just caused a backfire big time. And these same people are now squealing like stuck pigs with the fact that they are now misrepresented and underrepresented. And it's pleasure, it's joy to my ears, a little slower and longer than I expected, but it's happening.
Well, it's interesting, but if you think about it, I mean, the Democrats have had a really, really bad week. I mean, the last week has been, you think about the case in Virginia where they're trying to do their gerrymandering, taking away 4 or 5 seats away from Republicans. It looks like that has been put on hold. The Supreme Court of Virginia may strike this down. They may not be able to utilize the thing that they tried to do. Then you had the Supreme Court come in and say, in this case in Louisiana, that your color should not give you preference, in a political race. In other words, just because you're black doesn't mean you get a special district.
Right.
And, that is pure racism, really, if you think about it. Now, I understand back in the 1960s, 70s, I understand why some of the things happened, but those things should have had sunsets on them. They didn't. And now you're seeing the Supreme Court, which is really a great Supreme Court, who are strict constitutionalists that have sort of set us back on the right path.
Excellent point. The Voting Rights Act of 1965 was intended to do good to protect minorities, but it's the act itself is obsolete now. Are you telling me that only African Americans, blacks, are the only minority? You'll arguably hear from 2 or 3 other minorities when you get into that kind of conversation. And so the Supreme Court took a big step in pivoting and saying that we're not throwing the act out, but we're minimizing its import by making sure it's relative. And what they said was key. It's the source of what we needed to fix some of the voting issues as well. That it's not about your race in terms of identifying methodology for voting. It's about the population of your area and making sure this term I've mentioned before, coterminous, one man, one vote, that your district with X number of people in it is the same size as my district here in Florida, so that when we vote for a candidate for, let's say, Congress and other offices as well, that the weight of our vote is the same. That's why some people walk away saying, I feel like my vote doesn't matter. It was perverted by Democrats who wanted the inside regime to control you. It's a socialistic attitude where the party comes first. No, in America, the person comes first. It's one man, one vote, one woman, one vote, and it's there for a reason, so that you and I participate. You and I get the guy elected. You and I decide to run when we want to. You and I know who our boss is. It's the people who voted us in. The Democrats only worry about the regime. And so what you end up with is, you can see it in our congressmen. They're stuck with the battle it's gotten better, I might add, but they're stuck with the battle of going to Washington and listening to the party line. Hey, Michael, we're that road you want down in Hattiesburg, I'll get you the funding for it, but get on the phone and raise $25 million for fundraising for the next candidate. And oh, by the way, we need you to vote for this one, and this one first, and then we'll consider your need in Hattiesburg. Hey, that's not why I got elected. And what the hell am I going to tell the people who voted me in? That their issues are on hold because I got to raise money for some outside source? That's not democracy. And the two-party system that runs this, that is imbued in this constitutional republic, was never intended to be that way. This Supreme Court ruling fixes that. The word coterminous, one man, one vote, means that your vote is just as valuable as mine, and that together we help find the person we want to represent us. And the liberal lefty that was on the television yesterday with me came absolutely unglued. And this is not this. The Democrats are getting slapped in the face. How many times have we said there will be a strategic and planned demise of the Democratic Party? Again, not as fast as I'd like, but it's happening. The two-party system is valuable, Michael, but it needs to be ethical and above board. And that's what this voter realignment issue does.
Yeah, it's funny, but the Democrats weaponized the Civil Rights Act while we're on that subject. And they want only Democrats to be elected, and they want a reliable Black Democrat to get elected in those districts. Now, it's interesting because I saw a clip from CNN the other day that was just hit this. So the guy hit a home run. They said, we've never elected a Black governor. And Scott Jennings, the guy is great. He goes, well, we tried to in Virginia, but you voted him down and put the white liberal woman in there. And they lost their mind. I mean, we tried. We tried to run Blacks as governors on the Republican ticket, and you won't vote for them. That's what's so funny.
Yeah, it's because it's really not about racism, is it? It's about maintaining power. Yeah. And the blacks have been abused in that way for a long time. And the good blacks that are really qualified and deserve the seat find no pathway of getting there. And that is what is in the process of changing now. I think we're in for a more vibrant America. I think America is on the way up. It took a bully like Donald Trump to go walk into the China shop and shake things up. And he had to, because we've been dealing with bullies.
We got about 30 seconds left. What is going to happen with Hormuz and the blockade? Quickly.
I regret to say the blockade will not make Iran buckle. The war may be prolonged a little bit. I don't care how long it runs. I care about the end result. We need to get in and create a new regime for Iran if they're too stupid to do it for themselves. We're doing it in a constructive way right now in Venezuela. Iran's based on a religious hierarchy, and that means they put their life ahead of democracy. It's not going to work. We need to get in there with foot soldiers.
They want the 12th Imam to show up. That's what they want.
That's
Gene,
right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us, buddy. We appreciate it. We'll see you again next week.
Bestie guy. Bye-bye.
Throughout history, the spirit of patriotism has prevailed. The battles may have changed,